Well, Umar, the stage is yours. It's about human potential, and it's the founder's edge. This matters to me because I run my own humanitarian projects. I have a school for refugees in Jordan, for Syrian refugees. I've been running it for more than 11 years right now, and I assure you, humanitarian work takes a lot of entrepreneurship skills, but I would love to hear it from you, the CEO and the founder of Global Possibilities. Umar, the podium is all yours. Thank you.
Yeah, no, this was honestly till now, I'm still overwhelmed by the last panel, mashallah. And they were very inspirational, and I regret not having taken notes. But without further ado, I don't want to take too much time between yourselves and lunch, or maybe you already had your lunch. My name is Umar Boussaidi. I'm the founder of Global Possibilities. So today I was asked to speak about human potential, and I'll tell you a little bit of my story and how I came to set up a company like this. It's been running now for over 6 years, alhamdulillah. But I'll tell you how I turned this $150 to over $3 million in under 5 years, alhamdulillah. So the background about myself and how I actually got into entrepreneurship started right after I finished high school. So when I graduated from high school, I went to the American University in Dubai. And one thing some people may know, may not know, at AUD, it's a school known for a lot of like rich kids. All you see, just have to go to the parking lot and you see Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and everybody wearing all the brands you can imagine in the world. And because of that, the challenge is my mom had said, okay, you know what, I've saved for you to go to this university, but you want to hang out with these people in Ferraris and Lamborghinis, you have to go get a job. So I was forced at a very young age. So 17 years old was when I had my first job. So I used to work from 8 in the morning to 4 p.m. and then go to university from 5 to 10 p.m. That's why with it, I specialized in marketing. It took me 6.5 years to graduate from AUD. Anyways, I did that and then graduated, whatever. But there was something that was still giving me the ick, because my parents were both, they studied engineering or keda, and my dad, Allah yarhamah, he was in the army. So I don't come from a merchant-backed family, but I have an uncle. His name is Isa Rawahi. And my uncle, he actually has an interesting story. Like, he dropped out of school at grade 9, so he didn't even finish high school. But he represents and works with some of the largest oil and gas companies in the world today in Oman. And mashallah, like he managed to put his kids all in like Ivy League schools and stuff. So he said, never depend on only one source of income. He's like, think of yourself like a country. He's like, does the country just depend on oil and gas revenues? Does, when you look at multi-millionaires, do they only have like one source of income or one source of business? They always diversify their income. So he's like, what prevents you from doing the same thing? So because he gave me that, and I must tell you, he's my mom's brother. My mom hated him for doing that because my mom enjoyed having me, and my mom's very risk averse. She's like, just go do your job, go to school, come back, get a degree, and be like your siblings, Some of you here are my friends and you know my siblings. I don't know if you guys know, I'm an Aries, or Burj al-Hamal, and we're very stubborn. And you tell us to do something and we just like to dive first and then we think later, which is a terrible thing, but anyways, I'm alive today. So what happened is, my first business at 18 is I had an advertising business. So it was called Loop Face Marketing. Some people are laughing because they know about this story. So I had an advertising business. And the reason I did that is because there were so many companies coming to the UAE. And I thought, oh my God, this is a chance for us to do design billboards for them. And so many people were doing marketing collateral, especially for real estate companies. Because around 2004, when the UAE opened the freehold market, I thought, okay, this is the time to go and target them. So Unfortunately, I said, let me get an office on Sheikh Zayed Road because, in the UAE, it's all about the prestige and stuff. So I had my office in this building, Alpha Tower in Sheikh Zayed. And we were actually getting work. In fact, I don't know if some of you know, but there's one of the major newspapers from the UK called Sunday Times. We were doing the marketing for the Sunday Times. The problem with marketing, as some of you may know, is that they will tell you, we want a proposal. And sometimes when you're designing the proposal and everything, it can take a couple of weeks. They don't give you even 50% down payment. Because anyways, you're pitching against other companies. So now you're there and your burn rate is going up. So basically your operation expenses, you're paying your employees and whatever. But then you don't have any money coming in. Anyways, by the time they approve you and they say, yes, we do want to work with you, it takes a few months and whatever. Anyways, long story short, I could not survive more than 6 months because I had burnt up all the money that I had saved. And unfortunately, I went to everybody's central bank, which is usually our mom's. So my mom had money from wherever. And she was like, I told you, you're not meant to be doing business. You don't know how to run a business, whatever. So anyways. So that was a terrible experience. And she told me to promise her I'm not going to go back to her for money. Okay. Fast forward a year later, again, I saw another opportunity. So I have an older sister, that some of you may know, her name is Aida. Aida happens to have a lot of friends that keep getting married every other week. فلأن she kept going to all these weddings. I told my sister, and I see my sister always stressing to go and get a new dress. And I was like, why do you have to get a new dress? Just wear this one. She's like, la, I can't let these people are going to be at the same wedding and they'll say, oh, she's wearing the same dress you wore like 3 weddings ago. So and I was like, oh, interesting. So that's how it works. So because I saw that she had to get a new dress, and I'm telling you, she goes almost every month to a new wedding. This was back then. I think all her friends are now married off. I said, let me do this business. And I found 2 designers in California and brought these dresses from California. And I noticed in the UAE, people pay a premium for these dresses, whether it was wedding gowns or evening dresses. So you could get a wedding gown in the States for like under $1,000, $500-700, and you can sell it for $10,000 in the UAE. People pay for it. Anyways, because the designs in the States are actually really good. So I did that, but the problem is, with that problem, I had a terrible location. I had my shop next to a restaurant in Bersha, behind Mall of the Emirates somewhere. And I remember, because I used to do a lot of PR and marketing about it, some of the girls that went there and then they saw cockroaches and I don't know what in the shop. It was so bad. It ruined the store's reputation so bad, and I had to shut it down basically. So the Contessa, that shop, it had to shut down after 1 year in operation. So at least it was better than the advertising, from 6 months to 1 year. And then I had a third business. I actually had a barbershop. A lot of people knew me for having a barbershop in JLT. It was called W Gen Salon. Unfortunately, with that, it was a very successful business with the barbershop. But then I had a fallout with my business partner. And that's where, khalas, I said, you know what? I'm not doing business anymore. I'm tired of all this and whatever. Fast forward in 2018. A lot of different, the 2018 things changed for me. My dad, Allah yarhamah, he passed away in that year. And then I have a very good friend of mine who recommended that I apply for the Fulbright scholarship. So I did, and little do I know, a year later, I got this email from the State Department in the US saying, congratulations, you got the Fulbright program and you're going to go to Florida State University. So I went. What I found very interesting in this experience is leaving from a busy place like the United Arab Emirates. We all know this place is it's amazing, it's great, but sometimes the hustle and the bustle and rushing and everybody wants to see you and everybody wants to meet for coffee. It's like a typical thing, It prevents you from thinking clearly. And what I love from leaving one of the busiest cities in the world like Dubai and going to one of the slowest cities in the world, Tallahassee. Many people don't even know that actually Tallahassee is the capital of Florida. People think Miami is the capital. Yeah, it seems like the capital. La, Tallahassee, there's nothing. Actually, the total population of Tallahassee is like 250,000 people from a place with millions of people, صح? So I went to Tallahassee. I felt super homesick and whatever, but I really got a chance to find myself. And this is why I like to always remind people about this one quote by Mark Twain. He said, 2 important days in your life: the day you were born and the day you find out why. What I liked about being in Tallahassee and this class is I thought to myself, okay, oh, by the way, once upon a time I was married and it was a disaster and I got divorced, so yeah. So I was like, okay, I failed in businesses, I failed in my marriage and whatever and everything else. So I was like, and then I lost my dad the year before. So I was like, okay, what's going on? Who am I? And what is actually my reason, or what is my potential? Which is the topic of today's show, right? The human potential. As I was there, I realized that the one thing that I feel that I contributed in my career or even in my personal life is people enjoyed the fact that I was always very informative, maybe about a topic or something or whatever. And when I was there, it's crazy because when I was in the States, when I went to do my master's, in my very first day in class, I was asked to drop that class by the professor and take another class and to teach this class. It's crazy. On my very first day in university, I'll tell you the subject of that topic of what I had to teach later. I don't want to scare the audience. Anyways, so I had to teach this class. So I realized in terms of like, you know, the day that I was born, the day I find out why, I am an educator. And I realized that I find the maximum potential in myself and joy and happiness being an educator, being informative to people. So that was the first stage. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me run with this. And I was getting paid. This is the first time that I'm actually like an assistant professor. I was a TA. I was a teaching assistant. So I was a teaching assistant in the United States. Who would have thought, like leaving from here to become a TA in America? And I didn't even have my master's degree yet. I still had my bachelor's, but I think all the experience I gained in the UAE and everything else, people will value that. So I did that. I graduated from university. I did my master's in international affairs and intelligence at Florida State, and then I worked at the UAE consulate in New York in commercial diplomacy. And then, while I was working at the UAE consulate, the amount of companies that were reaching out to us, because they all wanted to come to the UAE, and they saw the UAE is booming, etc. They said, why don't you come and work for us? So because I couldn't accept a job offer from all these different companies, I said, you know what? Why don't I set up a business? Well, the name is there, Global Possibilities, and then hopefully be your bridge between the US and the UAE. So I set up Global Possibilities in Florida. Today, we represent 5 different US states, and we consult global companies like Google, Novo Nordisk, Nestle, Zoom, Kaspersky. And alhamdulillah, it's been going very well. I like to say we're small but mighty. We're just like 10 people. And actually, because we're in Abu Dhabi today, we were the company that brought Abu Dhabi Chamber and the US Chamber of Commerce to sign an MOU. So the US Chamber has 3 million members. Those 3 million members today have access to the Abu Dhabi market. Abu Dhabi has access to all of those companies now, and they were able to take this huge database from the United States Chamber. So we're very honored that Abu Dhabi Chamber gave us this task, and we were able to fulfill that for them. So one of the things that I like to tell people, and okay, what is it that can get you into entrepreneurship and make you successful in this sense? And who are the people, and what are the enablers that can get you from point A to point B? In this entire process, I learned one thing, that no matter how many times you get told that you may not succeed, even if it is from the closest people to you in your family, like for me, in my case, it was my mother, you can't succeed in anything if, first of all, you don't know who you are. If you're not able to find out who you are and identify what are your strong sets, your strong skill sets, etc., which is something that the members on the panel before this said, it'll be very difficult for you to succeed. This is number one. Number two, you have to surround yourself with a circle of support and like-minded people. A lot of the people that contributed to my success today are people that never wanted anything back from me, but they just wanted to see me successful. So before I went to the States, I was working in Abu Dhabi tourism, and some people, my colleagues are in this room as well. I was the head of a department. I was earning a very good salary, etc. The Fulbright program, for some of you who don't know, the US government, they only give you $1,400 a month. So I went at the age of 32. I didn't have a business or anything. So imagine leaving the UAE, getting a sizable salary, and I had a nice car. I was living here in Ittihad Towers and everything. To leave this to go all the way to Tallahassee. And remember, I told you, I don't come from a merchant family. I come from a working class family, etc. But to leave this, to take that leap of faith, because I have a mentor, and he's like, Umar, if you take this, you graduate and people know that you're a Fulbright scholar, trust me, it's going to unlock all the doors in the world for you. So, again, I told you, I'm an Aries, we're crazy. So I said, you know what? Why not? I remember, to be honest with you, I actually left my home a week before I had to go to the States because I had a huge fight with my mom. We weren't talking. She didn't speak to me until I got to the States and after weeks or months later, because she didn't understand why I was going. She's like, are you drinking? Are you doing drugs? Why are you doing this? You have everything you need. You have your family, you have your friends, you have a very good job, people respect you. I was always on social media for, speaking at events and stuff like this. But I said, you know what, Ma? I need to leave to find myself. She's like, why are you talking like you're watching too much Hollywood and you're saying all these things that these Americans, this is what they say in their movies. I told you, you shouldn't be watching all these stupid shows that you watch. But la, I just did it. I took my friend's advice, went there, and it's so true. Like literally, almost every contract that we got, especially reaching out to these senators' offices and economic development offices in the US, we got that contract. The moment, even with I have team members that are Americans, but when I tell them that I'm a Fulbright scholar, it just changes everything. Okay, so this is number one. So forgetting the naysayers, number one. Number two, I told you about the circle of support and like-minded people. And number three, being an expert in your field. So I like to say that I'm a generalist for the most part. So I like to know a little about a lot of things, then a lot about a few things. So yes, that's true. But the field that I'm in, which is consulting, is what I love. And I started to become an expert in this field. And I noticed every single time, and this is why even in that book by Malcolm Gladwell, Outliers, if you do something over and over and over again, you clock in so many hours in that space, this is what's going to make you successful. So luckily I noticed that there was a correlation or convergence between being an educator, because consulting, that's what they do for their clients. They educate their clients, about the sector, okay, and then learning and becoming good executioners. So I became an expert in my field, alhamdulillah. Learned a lot about consulting, Googled, now you can chat GPT everything, and it was golden. So I learned and I also spoke to some of my friends at PwC, McKinsey, and today, like, the proposals and the decks that I have, when I present to clients, they look even probably better than McKinsey. I'm not telling you from my side, it comes from the client. So I took their playbook, but just mixed it with our own flavor. And the one thing that you can do, which is something that His Excellency Hamid Al-Hamid said earlier about, differentiating yourself. Tafarrad, he said that earlier. What I like about what Hamid Al-Hamid said is today that, we as Emiratis, it's already in our DNA to be hospitable, be advisable and everything. So our approach, the DNA of our company, because it comes from this culture mixed with the Western approach, it's exactly what wins us the client. And I can tell you, I'm telling you, whichever Emiratis are in the room today, you want to set up this business in consulting, people pay an arm and a leg. It works like magic. Yani, we have a fraction of the companies in the US that are here. And I don't know if you understand this. Okay, maybe the UAE's economy, we're about like 4 trillion now. The US economy, it's a $40 trillion economy. 40. You have to understand the amount of money that is there, the amount of companies that are still not leaving the US market alone is already so significant. Many of them don't feel the need that they have to leave the state. But if you just get, Mansour al-Sayegh said that he said الملعب كبير, the field is large. And it's true. There's so much opportunity. You don't have to have the red ocean approach. There's a blue ocean strategy. You guys should read this book. It's literally, there's so many opportunities for different companies. So educate yourself or become an expert in your field. Look towards new opportunities. Differentiate yourself. Become unique and bring your own flavor. These are the things that will take you and make you very successful. So in that, if people ask me, so what's next? Today, we're talking to a few private equity firms that are looking at buying smaller consulting agencies. This company is based in New York, so we're having discussions, and hopefully, most businesses, some people will tell you in this room, you enter business so that you can exit, whether you close it, whether you sell it. So we're in talks with a fairly large company that hopefully, if everything goes well, we will exit. But if not, we're still very happy, and our numbers look good, so we're happy where we are. But that's, I guess, unleashing human potential for me and what it's done for global possibilities. Thank you for listening, and that's my story. Thank you.